reservation of humanity. I beg to differ with that. I feel that we deserve human rights, and we are definitely human. Okay, now, one of the things I wanted to mention also about American Indians is Native Americans is most people believe that Native Americans all come from reservations. This is far from the truth. Many, if not most, of Native Americans are from non-reservation tribes, because a lot of them came from Indian Territory. And between 1897 and 1907, there was a General Allotment Act that took away all of Indian Territory and took away all the reservations from people who were in Indian Territory, which became the state of Oklahoma. You can see here. Here's where the Choctaws were, and here's the area of the Muskogee Creeks, the Creek Nations, the Cherokees were here, the Cheyenne Arapahoes here, the Comanches and the Apaches were here, Chickasaws were here. Actually, there were all these, the Sac and Fox, the Seminoles. There's all these different tribal groupings that were disenfranchised of their lands, and they have no reservation or no lands, and are essentially in a refugee or landless status in their own lands. They're essentially refugees in their own lands. And that's, most of many Native Americans are from non-reservation tribes and cannot return to this romantic reservation. And there are, still certainly large reservations among the western state and northern plains people, such as the Lakota, the Dene or Navajo Nation people, the various Pueblos, several of the rancherias here in California. That's true. But there are many, many federally recognized Native Americans who are from non-reservation tribes and have no land or reservation at all. Just in concluding and passing, I'd like to bring up the concept of the term church, which sometimes tends to put some people off. Now, the word church originally comes from the word circle. The Greek term ecclesia actually applies to more of a Christian-oriented church, whereas the term church could apply to any religion or any denomination. It means circle. And certainly, we are a circle of worshipers. If anybody is, we, as the Native Americans who do the ghost dance, and are a circle, a community circle, that system of worship and religious structuring should apply to us, and it does legally as well as figuratively apply to us. And I feel we have a right to the term church as much as any other religion does. And that's why we use the term, because we have those same legal rights. As a church, as such, we are legally incorporated in the state of California. We were organized by federally recognized American Indians, which allow us to organize under the separate set of laws, since we were arguably originally and still are kind of in a quasi-citizenship position, sort of, as I said, acknowledged, kind of not sort of as wildlife. There was this whole separate set of laws called the Title 25 Act that applies principally to Native Americans who are acknowledged as such and are federally recognized American Indians. So we were organized by federally recognized American Indians, our church, Native American Church of the Good Stance, under the American Indian, pursuant to the American Indian Religious Freedom Act. Our religion, specifically the ghost dance, was essentially outlawed, the only religion in the United States that was, between 1898 and 1978, when this law came into existence, which now we're under a special protection that we have rights to our religious freedoms just like anyone else. We are also a recognized church organization and exempt under the church standards by the IRS and the California's Franchise Tax Board of the state of California. Here are our exemption letters, and we are applicable to receive tax-deductible donations. As such, being federally recognized American Indians too, we're allowed to receive eagle parts for our ceremonies. The eagle is a very important aspect to performing our rituals and ceremonies. And so we're as federally recognized American Indians for Indian religious purposes, we received a permit from the Fish and Wildlife Services to use eagle feathers in our services, which is a very important part of the ghost dance, by the way, using these feathers, and in other ritual situations. We're also allowed to possess and receive the sacred peyote, the sacred sacrament of Native American medicine, otherwise known as peyote, and we're registered with the Texas Department of Health and of Public Safety, which regulates this, because principally these ancient peyote fields are located in the Rio Grande area of southern Texas. And so in order to be able to possess and receive that, again, you have to be 1/4 blood quantum federally recognized American Indian or more to be able to do this. This is our permit, and since we are established as a church body by these federally recognized American Indians, we're allowed to receive these peyote authorization permits from the government of the state of Texas, which regulates the dispensation of these ancient peyote fields. I might say, you can't just grow peyote anywhere. It's a sacrament, it's an ancient entheogen, and has a very sacred spirit attached to it. And it's a very ancient spirit. And these fields have the most ancient spirits, and that's why they actually have the power source. It's not like growing in a pot. That's a desecration of the concept of the sacrament. These are medicine ceremonies, and they're only used not for recreational purposes, never. They are used only in sacramental, ritual purposes, and only at certain times of the year or month in order to open those doorways into the cosmic dimensions, to assist us in doing that by virtue of this very powerful ancient spirit that comes forth from these sacraments and from these fields. So at this point, that pretty much concludes this second sermon of the Native American Church of the Ghost Dancers. If you have any questions about any of this, you can log on to our site at www.ghostdancers.org. That's GHOSTDANCERS.org. And we have a section for a contact page that you can actually ask any questions that you deem appropriate or relevant. And we'll, as time permits, and our subsequent sermons will answer any of those questions that are relevant or appropriate.
Wakaya.
Wakaya. Nanaya Hosh, Yishinoashke. May you walk in peace.